my recent events up to the last, I guess, 16 hours. I'm on the road trucking right now, taking a load up north to New York, and it's my first major trip going past two states. I'm going from Texas to New York. I'm about 11 hours in, so I'm taking a stop out here in Alabama, and it's been an experience. The rates in Texas compared to other states aren't great right now. So I run for Relay, Amazon, and I run with a few other dispatchers and brokers. And whenever I get online and I look at the rates in Texas, $1.20, you may be lucky to get $1.40 a mile. But I looked at where I'm headed in New York, and they're paying $2.40 a mile. Um, Colorado, $2.40 a mile, $2.60 a mile. Utah, but that's another story. So when I took the load, my dispatcher, I told him that I'll take the load, but can you get me a load back to from New York to whatever state on a back haul, just to make up for my deadhead and the price of gas, because I didn't get a great rate per mile. I basically got about $1.60 a mile to go 1,600 miles. Um, I didn't get paid the extra for team drive. Um, it's just it's not really a great deal, but you got to take the money. Or maybe I don't. But at this point, like, it's close to the holidays. Um, Bills are due. You got to do what you got to do. So I contact my dispatcher once I go and pick the load up, send them the pictures showing that the load has been secured. I'm en route. I text them, "Hey, can you give me a load coming back?" It could be to from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, Virginia, the Dakotas, Atlanta. There's several states you could choose from. So a second dispatcher hits me at about 1 o'clock. I'm about 4 hours into the load, and this is my first time dealing with him. And he sends me a load, I guess by accident, that was going from New Jersey to Virginia that was paying $1,200. It was about a 330-mile route with 32 miles of deadhead. If that. I think it was 10 miles of deadhead. Paying, and when he originally sent me the load, it was $1,200. So I say, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, that'll make up for the gas. That'll make up the gas that I'm paying to get out here. 10 minutes later, he texts back saying, "Oh, my bad, brother. Um, my boss said that load is, I could only pay you about $400 for that load." So where did that $1,200 come from? If the dispatcher and this business, the dispatcher gets paid after the driver delivers the load. But that's not how this business is working and trucking these days. And these dispatchers are taking a cutoff before they call the trucker and the small business trucking companies to secure the load. They're already taking a percentage off. So if the load, say for example, the load's going from Oklahoma to Utah, it's 2,000 pounds, is paying 2,100. That's the original price. It's paying 2,100 from Oklahoma to Utah. When the broker sends that load to the dispatcher, once the dispatcher gets it, it goes from 2,100 to 1,400. So when the trucker hears it, or the trucker's dispatcher hears it, it's 1,400. So that's $700 already shaved off from broker to dispatcher to trucker. And that's just being lenient on what they doing right now with the business. It's bad. It's so bad that so this is the reason why I'm speaking on this. I don't mean to be yapping, but this is the reason why I'm speaking on this. So the dispatcher, he sends me the load saying that it's going from New Jersey or Brooklyn to Virginia, about 300 miles, and it's paying $1,200. He sends it to me. Yeah, I'll take it. 300 miles, $1,200. Fuck yeah. 10 minutes later, he responds back with like, "Oh, my bad, brother. The load was only paying $450. So where did the $1,200 come from? You accidentally typed $1,200? No. This is a new dispatcher that probably just started and sent the load as soon as the broker sent it to his screen. He didn't get a chance to take his cut out and then put it out for the drivers to bid on. So I got the uncut version of what this load was paying for 300 miles, $1,200. So I send the load to my dispatcher that got me this load to New York. And after about 5 minutes, he responds and was like, "Oh, this load," he sends me a screenshot of the load and said it's paying 550. I can get you 550 for it. So I'm like, I'll take $800 for it. He was like, "Brother, the load isn't paying 800, it's paying 350." So I'm like, I got a message saying that the load was paying $1,200. That wasn't a typo, an actual digit typo. Well, all digits off except for the zero. Because I had already accepted for $800. He was like, back about 10 minutes later. Go to text him back. Can you give me something else? No response. So I text my dispatcher that got go out to New York. He's still working on getting me a load back. He sends me a load. Well, where was that load that he sent? No, no, not Jimmy, the other guy, the one that got us this load. Hasn't sent anything. He got us the load to New Jersey, the way out to almost Brooklyn, 1,700 miles, 26-hour drive. He got me that load last week. He secured that load for me Friday. And it's Monday, and he can't get me a load back to any state. At least 7 states within where I'm from and where I'm going. At least 7 states. And he can't find me a load. I don't want to make this a race thing, I don't want to make this an ethnicity thing. I don't want to make this but it is what it is. Like, I've had these conversations so many times with how the market is saturated, and not only saturated, it's diluted with ghost companies, immigrants, and illegals, and it's affecting the American citizen. Now, the big business owners, the bulls, they don't agree with what our president put into effect, saying that like we have to get rid of these illegals because they're taking the money from the American workers. And the reason why these bull companies, owners, the big bosses are in such protest with it is because it's hurting their overhead and their bottom line when it comes to economy and their business, because they hire these illegals, they get tax cuts for them, they don't have to pay them insurance, don't have to pay them the regular wages. So that takes that takes jobs that we could have. They underbid us, undermine us, and it's just, man, it's frustrating because I brought my wife out on this load, and she's got bad anxiety, real bad anxiety. She doesn't like being on the road too long. We've already been on the road for 12 hours, and we're budgeting what we've spent and really like wishing on the star. We wishing to a pie in the sky on getting the load back to the state, because we know that this market is so saturated with people that will take half of what that work is worth and 1/4 of what a person like you and I would take just to keep us from getting that money. It's frustrating. But hopefully when I get to the East Coast, um I can build some relationships and get is the saturation in small business markets affecting the American worker, the American small business owner. See y'all later.